The world was not ready for this one, in a move that has left both Hollywood and Washington shaking. Ice Cube has just revealed the shocking truth about who was really after Charlie Kirk, and it's darker, deeper, and way more dangerous than anyone ever imagined. It started as whispers, strange tweets, vanishing posts, late-night messages that disappeared before anyone could screenshot them. But now, Ice Cube himself has broken the silence. He's gone on record saying there's proof of a hidden campaign against Kirk. A campaign so coordinated that it involved names from the entertainment industry, political think tanks, and even shadow figures connected to intelligence agencies. In his words, they thought they could shut him up. But the receipts don't lie. What followed was a cascade of leaks, private audio clips, and lost emails that turned a routine controversy into an outright manhunt for the truth. Ice Cube claims he's seen the files. He knows the people involved, and he's ready to burn every bridge to tell the world. But here's the chilling part. Every time someone tries to talk about it, they get silenced. And what Ice Cube just said in his latest interview may have exposed the people powerful enough to make that happen. To understand how Ice Cube ended up in the middle of a storm involving Charlie Kirk, the FBI, and an invisible network of influence, you have to go back, way back, to where their paths first crossed. Charlie Kirk, the outspoken political commentator and founder of Turning Point USA, has always been a magnet for controversy. His name trends weekly. His speeches draw both loyal fans and furious critics, and he's no stranger to public backlash. But what most people don't know is that long before Ice Cube ever stepped into the conversation, Charlie had already started receiving veiled warnings from inside the entertainment industry. Messages that hinted someone didn't just disagree with him. They wanted him gone. The first connection came years ago, quietly, when Ice Cube was producing a documentary about media manipulation and the power of influence. Sources claim that during filming, Cube's research team stumbled across a network of political donors, PR executives, and digital strategy firms that worked behind the scenes to bury certain voices online while amplifying others. One of the flagged names, Charlie Kirk. At the time, Cube didn't think much of it. He'd seen manipulation before, especially in Hollywood. But months later, he started to notice something disturbing. Certain episodes of his podcast were mysteriously demonetized. Interviews he gave were edited differently than what he'd said. And private emails he'd sent were appearing in places they shouldn't. The message was clear: back off. But Ice Cube doesn't back off. Cut to 2024. Out of nowhere, Cube started hinting that he'd been approached by people asking him to stay quiet about what he called the coordination. Fans thought he was joking until he wasn't. In an appearance on a late-night podcast, Cube dropped a line that set the internet on fire. Some of the same people that went after Kirk are the ones that came after me when I started talking truth. And they ain't who you think they are. The host laughed it off, but Cube didn't. He leaned closer to the mic and said, "They operate above politics. They run both sides." That clip went viral overnight, before being scrubbed from YouTube less than 12 hours later. The only version that survived was an audio rip that circulated on encrypted Telegram channels. Within days, those clips were labeled misinformation by major platforms. That's when Cube went dark. No tweets, no interviews, no public sightings. Fans panicked, thinking he'd been silenced. Then, just as suddenly, he came back with a bombshell tweet. "I've seen the files. I know who's behind it." Kirk was just the beginning. Those 11 words sent shockwaves through the internet. Meanwhile, sources close to Kirk revealed that he'd been receiving anonymous threats warning him to stay in his lane. One email reportedly read, "You talk too much for someone who doesn't understand how deep this goes." And then, an even stranger coincidence, 3 of Kirk's live event venues abruptly canceled his scheduled appearances. citing security concerns. No explanation, no refunds. No follow-up. That's when Ice Cube decided to step in publicly, according to someone in Cube's circle. He reached out to Kirk privately and offered to share information he'd uncovered during his documentary research, information that allegedly tied the attacks on Kirk to a shadow consortium of corporate figures with political leverage and deep media connections. A week later, Cube appeared on a podcast titled Behind the Curtain, where he dropped what would later be called the Cube revelation. He said, calmly but firmly, "They don't want you to know the truth because the truth makes people uncontrollable. Kirk got too loud, too fast, and they had to make an example. But the problem is, they came after the wrong guy. And now, it's my turn to talk." That line was replayed across TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter millions of times before every copy mysteriously vanished. Cube's team received calls from governmental sources warning him that continuing to spread fabricated information could result in legal consequences. But insiders claim that wasn't the real threat. The real pressure came from people in the entertainment industry. Studio partners began pulling out of his future projects. Longtime collaborators suddenly cut ties. One unnamed executive allegedly told him off the record, "You don't understand who you're messing with. They control the platform you're speaking on." And that's when the story went from controversial to terrifying. Because Ice Cube didn't just name vague entities or political groups. He claimed that specific individuals inside an intelligence network were directly involved in silencing dissenting voices. He even hinted that Kirk had been placed under digital observation long before his biggest controversies hit the headlines. For weeks, no one heard from either of them. Then a leaked phone call surfaced online. A deep, scratchy voice said, "They think we're afraid. But this goes higher than any of us thought." The internet believes that voice was Ice Cube's, and that call, it might have just been the final spark before the explosion. The internet was already a storm of theories and leaked whispers when everything detonated. One quiet evening, without warning, a 6-minute audio file appeared on a Telegram channel known for leaking political documents. The file was labeled Ice Cube X Kirk Call, redacted, but fans had already screen-recorded everything. Within hours, Reddit threads began analyzing every frame, zooming into the papers, trying to decipher the blurred text. A faint logo could be seen in the corner, one that appeared to match a defense contractor known for data signal analysis. The same contractor had previously been accused of monitoring social media content in partnership with federal agencies. That revelation sent social media into meltdown. Kirk, who had remained silent until now, posted a shocking video response. He looked shaken, standing outside in what appeared to be a hotel parking lot. "They're not after me for politics anymore," he said. "They're after me because I know who funded it. And Ice Cube's right, this goes way beyond party lines." He didn't name names, but at the end of the clip, Kirk said something chilling. "There's a list. I've seen it. And 3 of the names would make every American question who really runs this country." That clip was shared over 15 million times before being taken down from every major platform. Then, the twist that flipped the entire narrative. A whistleblower identifying themselves only as Diane K surfaced on an encrypted forum, claiming to have worked as a digital communications assistant for the same Glasshouse project that Cube mentioned. She released snippets of redacted documents showing surveillance authorizations, targeting public figures who had potential to disrupt narrative flow. Her claim? Charlie Kirk and Ice Cube were both listed under Category C, cultural influencers with ideological volatility, in one file. Under Kirk's name, a chilling note was scrawled. Subject displays uncontrollable media influence. Escalation protocol recommended. under Cube's high unpredictability. Secondary containment necessary. And then a third name. Completely blacked out except for one word: deceased. No one knew who it referred to. That single haunting redaction sent the internet into hysteria. People speculated it was a whistleblower who'd tried to expose the network before. Others claimed it was an unnamed executive who'd been silenced. But one Reddit thread stood out. Deceased equals the comedian who went dark in 2005. Within an hour, that comment was deleted. Meanwhile, Cube's close friends began posting subtle messages of concern. His producer tweeted, "They're making it look like he's paranoid, but he's not." Another wrote, "We've been told to de-escalate the narrative, whatever that means." The final blow came when multiple journalists who tried to investigate. Glasshouse suddenly reported being locked out of their email accounts. One journalist from The Intercept even tweeted, "Someone's scrubbing our drafts. We can't access our notes." That tweet vanished in under 5 minutes. By dawn, Ice Cube's social media accounts were fully wiped. His website redirected to a blank page with one line of text: "You can't silence everyone." And that's when people began to realize this wasn't just a feud or conspiracy. This was something organized, a silent war against anyone who dared to question. Who truly pulls the strings behind the scenes? And if the leaks were real, then both Ice Cube and Charlie Kirk had just crossed a line that no one was ever supposed to cross. By the next morning, chaos had become the new normal. Ice Cube had vanished from every platform. Charlie Kirk had gone completely silent, and the public's imagination filled the vacuum faster than any official response ever could. On Reddit, the top post in our conspiracy read, "Cube was silenced, but the files weren't." Attached was a link to a 2.3 gigabytes torrent simply titled gh_truthdrop.zip. At first, no one knew what it contained. But within hours, screenshots began flooding X and Telegram, pages of government-style documents, private correspondence between media executives, and lists of influencer categories eerily similar to what whistleblower Diane Kay had described days earlier. Each page bore the same header: Glasshouse Operations Confidential. And each paragraph painted a disturbing picture: an organized campaign of digital manipulation targeting public figures deemed narratively volatile. But it was the section labeled Tier C, Influence, mitigation protocols that sent shockwaves through the internet. Under Case ID CK03, it listed Charlie Kirk, citing his excessive media traction and recommending sustained public discreditation. 2 lines below, Case ID IC12 named O'Shea Jackson Ice Cube, describing him as unpredictable, potentially catalytic, and resistant to conventional influence pathways. And then came the third entry, Case ID DCOO. The name was redacted, but beside it were the words, "Historical precedent, terminated, narrative stabilized." Within minutes, Reddit threads were screaming, "DC equals Dave Chappelle." The theory spread like wildfire. People began piecing together timelines: Chappelle's mysterious disappearance years ago, his sudden exodus from Hollywood, and his cryptic jokes about shadow networks. Everything suddenly clicked. Could all of this, Chappelle, Cube, and Kirk, have been part of the same long-running cover-up? But before anyone could dig deeper, something even stranger happened. At exactly 7:32 p.m. EST, a new video appeared on a newly created YouTube channel titled Ice Cube Archive. It showed Cube sitting in what looked like a dim warehouse, wearing a black hoodie and looking dead serious. The caption read, "This is for everyone who tried to bury the truth." The video lasted only 3 minutes. In it, Cube spoke directly into the camera. "They told me to stop talking. They told me this was above my clearance. But this isn't about politics anymore. It's about control, who has it, and what they're willing to do to keep it." They took out people before me. They're watching Charlie right now, and the next one who speaks won't even make it to the news cycle." He leaned forward. "They call themselves the coordinators, and they've been playing both sides for years." Before he could say more, the video cut off. The screen went black, followed by a chilling message: "File compromised. Access terminated." The video disappeared minutes later. But the damage was already done. People had downloaded and mirrored it everywhere. Then came the kicker: an anonymous X account claiming to be part of a federal counterleak task force tweeted, "The Cube transmission contained genuine classified materials. Cease reposting immediately." That tweet was quickly deleted, but screenshots spread across the globe. Within 24 hours, the #GlassHouseFiles hashtag had 120 million mentions. Meanwhile, Ice Cube's longtime producer, who had remained silent until now, released a voice note that ignited an entirely new level of panic. In the recording, he whispered, they weren't supposed to cross paths. Kirk was meant to be a distraction. Cube was supposed to be contained. But when they connected, it broke the loop. Now they're improvising. He ended the recording with a single sentence: "If you hear about an accident, don't believe it." And then, just like that, he disappeared too. The internet was spinning. Conspiracy channels were claiming Cube and Kirk had gone into hiding. Others said they were in federal custody, and one report from a small independent journalist suggested both were under protective supervision. No one could verify it. The only thing that seemed certain was that something massive had been triggered, and the people at the top were scrambling to contain it. That's when the biggest shock yet hit. During a live Fox segment discussing social media misinformation, the broadcast glitched for 7 seconds. When the feed returned, the ticker at the bottom of the screen briefly read, "Glasshouse interference detected." It vanished almost instantly, but those 7 seconds were enough. Viewers across multiple states caught it, recorded it, and slowed it down. The glitch revealed a hidden overlay, a folder icon with 3 initials, DCIC, CK. The same 3 initials linked to Chappelle, Ice Cube, and Charlie Kirk. From that moment, the internet was convinced. The 3 men had been part of the same long-running suppression network. And Ice Cube's reveal was just the final blow to a system that had been quietly collapsing. And then came the cryptic Reddit post that no one could explain. A new account, The Laugh Project, created minutes after the broadcast, uploaded a single message: 3 names.
Now the world waited, terrified and electrified, for November 19th, the date that could either expose everything or erase everyone involved. By sunrise the next day, the world had split into 2 camps. Those who believed Ice Cube had just cracked open the biggest covert operation in entertainment history, and those who swore it was an elaborate hoax designed to destroy him and Charlie Kirk's credibility once and for all. The internet wasn't just buzzing, it was detonating in real time. Hashtags like "Who runs the Laugh Project?", "Ice Cube exposed them," and a D6TK were everywhere. Every platform from TikTok to Twitter was a battlefield. Entire Reddit communities were born overnight just to decode screenshots of the Glasshouse files. Live streams ran 24/7 with digital detectives analyzing Cube's final video frame by frame. And then came the celebrity reactions, the ones that made everything 10 times worse. First, Elon Musk posted a cryptic tweet at 3:11 a.m., "AI plus influence, plus laughter, hard control." He wasn't lying. Within minutes, it vanished. Then came Kanye West, who reappeared online after months of silence, dropping an Instagram story showing Ice Cube's face with the words, "They used the same system on me." He told the truth. That story lasted 27 minutes before being removed, reportedly after a call from upstairs. By noon, the media war had begun. CNN ran a segment titled "The Ice Cube Misinformation Spiral," featuring a panel of experts claiming the entire Glasshouse operation was a hoax amplified by AI-edited files. But viewers noticed something eerie. When the host mentioned the Laugh Project, the audio momentarily distorted, cutting her voice mid-sentence. Clips of that glitch went viral instantly. Even more unsettling, none of the major networks replayed that segment ever again. Meanwhile, online, people were connecting dots no one could ignore. A Wired article resurfaced about behavioral modification through humor-based media campaigns, allegedly funded by a cultural impact council, the same phrase appearing multiple times in the leaked files. Independent journalists began uncovering old patents for sentiment redirection algorithms, supposedly developed by a subsidiary of a tech firm tied to government contracts. And then, fans started noticing patterns in comedy itself. Clips of comedians joking about shadow handlers, controlled laughter, and cancel machines suddenly felt prophetic. One particularly chilling edit compared Chappelle's 2003 Inside the Actor's Studio interview with a 2020 Ice Cube podcast clip, both men talking about walking away from systems that tell you what's funny. When played back-to-back, the eerie symmetry was undeniable. Twitter users began saying, "They tried to warn us years ago." But the tension reached its breaking point when a former late-night writer came forward on an anonymous podcast, using a voice distorter. They claimed that comedy scripts for certain high-profile talk shows were filtered through an unnamed approval system before airing. They said, "Every joke that questions power gets flagged. We were told laughter could influence sentiment, that it had to be contained." That one statement set off a global firestorm. Suddenly, fans started noticing their favorite clips disappearing from streaming platforms. Old stand-up specials vanished overnight, YouTube recommendations shifted, and posts about the Laugh Project were buried under algorithmic noise. On Instagram, accounts discussing the topic were shadow banned en masse. Then came the chilling coincidence no one could ignore. Netflix's homepage began briefly glitching for users across multiple countries, showing a flicker of a black and white banner reading, "Laugh responsibly." The image appeared for only 2 seconds before reverting to normal. Screenshots spread like wildfire. Netflix blamed a coding error. No one believed them. In Hollywood, panic quietly erupted. A-list comedians refused to comment publicly. Podcast hosts suddenly canceled upcoming episodes. Studio insiders leaked that PR departments were under strict legal guidance, not to engage with unauthorized narrative discussions. And behind the scenes, even some directors started receiving anonymous calls warning them to stay out of this conversation. Meanwhile, a wave of smaller creators took up the torch, uploading their own videos defending Ice Cube and Charlie Kirk. One TikTok creator's emotional rant went viral. "You don't delete a man's entire digital history unless he hit a nerve. They're scared because people are finally laughing for the wrong reasons. The real reasons." By that weekend, protests had broken out in Los Angeles, New York, and Atlanta. Crowds carried signs reading, "Free Cube," "We see you Glasshouse," and "Comedy isn't a weapon." Police presence was heavy, but eerily restrained, almost as if someone didn't want more cameras capturing what was happening. And just when people thought it couldn't get any stranger, an anonymous message appeared on the deep web. From an account signed M. Clay, the same alias connected to earlier FBI leaks in the Dave Chappelle case. The message read, "Cube opened the wrong file. Kirk made the wrong call. They think November 19th will fix it. It won't. The truth's already out." The post ended with one final cryptic sentence. "Laughter isn't entertainment anymore. It's encryption." That line sent chills across the internet. Analysts tried to decode it, believing it hinted at how the Laugh Project used humor itself to mask data manipulation. But before anyone could analyze further, the page hosting the message was taken offline by federal order. By now, even mainstream journalists began quietly admitting that something unprecedented was happening. But none of them dared say it on air. They knew what had happened to others who tried. The industry wasn't just afraid, it was frozen. Because if what Ice Cube and Kirk had uncovered was true, it meant every punchline, every laugh track, every trending meme had been quietly shaping what people believed for decades. And as one anonymous insider allegedly texted a reporter, "The system isn't collapsing, it's updating." That single text changed everything, because it confirmed what everyone was starting to suspect. The Laugh Project wasn't ending, it was evolving, and what came next would prove it in the most terrifying way imaginable. The countdown to November 19th felt apocalyptic. Everyone, from independent journalists to AI theorists to late-night doom scrollers, was waiting for something. Ice Cube's final video, Charlie Kirk's last statement, the leaked Laugh Project documents, and the mysterious initials DC, IC, CK had become an obsession. Every hour, millions refreshed Twitter and YouTube, waiting for the drop. But when midnight hit, Nothing happened, at least not at first. Then, exactly 19 minutes after midnight, an eerie new video appeared on a freshly created YouTube account titled Laugh Control Protocol. The upload had no thumbnail and no title, just the words 11:19 in the description box. Within seconds, hundreds of thousands were watching live. The footage opened with static, then a flicker, a dimly lit room. A laptop screen glowed faintly in the dark. A familiar voice spoke. They tried to stop the upload. It was unmistakably Ice Cube. He sounded tired, but his tone was steady. I told you they'd come for me, but I made copies. Charlie did too. And one more person has everything. Someone they thought they erased a long time ago. The camera shifted. A shadowy figure stepped forward, face blurred, voice scrambled, but the rhythm, the tone, the timing. Fans recognized it instantly. It was Dave Chappelle. The chat exploded. Millions flooded the stream, spamming, "He's alive." They lied. Dave is back. Chappelle leaned toward the camera and said, "They thought I disappeared. Nah, I just stopped playing their game. But I've been watching. And now it's time everyone else sees what's really been happening behind the curtain." He lifted a small flash drive identical to the one Ice Cube had shown weeks earlier. Then he said 7 words that shattered the internet. They used comedy to build the control grid. Static. The feed glitched, cutting to a screen of distorted letters and symbols that analysts later realized were fragments of code. One segment stood out, looping endlessly. Laugh v3.0 initiated. Then, the screen went black. No outro, no message, no trace. The channel vanished completely 5 minutes later. But the damage was done. The entire internet had seen it, and screenshots flooded every platform within seconds. People started posting eerie findings. Strange code appearing in captions, recommended videos looping old clips of comedians with subliminal flashes of the words, "Stay amused." On Reddit, users claimed their feeds were glitching, autoplaying stand-up videos they'd never watched before. On TikTok, random clips of laughter tracks started playing at double speed before freezing into silence. It wasn't just a digital panic anymore. It was psychological.
Cybersecurity experts rushed to calm the storm, claiming the anomalies were just algorithmic coincidences. But others, especially independent tech analysts, said the glitches weren't random at all. They claimed the Laugh Project code had activated a failsafe, a programmed system designed to redirect emotional responses whenever exposure reached a critical level. In other words, the moment the truth started spreading, the system fought back. Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk's team went completely dark. No tweets, no statements, no live streams. Then, 24 hours later, a strange post appeared on his X account. A single phrase, "You laughed. Now they listen." It was deleted within 2 minutes. But not before 60,000 users screenshotted it. And then came the final twist, at exactly 11:19 p.m. A global outage hit major social media platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and X all simultaneously crashed for precisely 11 minutes and 19 seconds. When they came back online, users noticed something terrifying. The trending tab across all platforms displayed one identical phrase: "Laughter unifies all global harmony." It was the same phrase hidden inside the glasshouse documents, scrambled to blame a synchronization. Era tech companies claimed a data propagation glitch, but to millions watching from around the world, it was obvious. The Laugh Project had gone live again. Ice Cube, Charlie Kirk, and Dave Chappelle, 3 voices from completely different worlds, had collided with something too powerful to destroy. And if that system was back online, then the biggest question wasn't who built it. It was who's running it now. The screen faded to black. A single sound played through every live stream that night. A faint, mechanical chuckle. And then silence. And that's where we are right now. Standing on the edge of something that's bigger than politics. Bigger than fame, and far darker than any scandal the entertainment world has ever seen. Ice Cube's revelations, Charlie Kirk's cryptic warnings, and Dave Chappelle's shocking reappearance have torn a hole straight through the illusion. The question is, do you believe it? Do you believe the Laugh Project was real? That the same system designed to make us laugh might have been conditioning us, watching us, guiding us? Or do you think this is the biggest digital smoke bomb of our generation, a myth built to make us question reality itself? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Was Ice Cube silenced or saved? Did Charlie Kirk vanish? Or was he pulled into protection? And most importantly, if the Laugh Project really rebooted on November 19th, what happens next? Because one thing is certain, the story isn't over. Every laugh you hear, every clip you scroll past, every recommended video you didn't click on, might just be part of the system restarting, so make sure you hit that like button. Share this video before it disappears, and subscribe right now because the next update could change everything. Stay alert. Stay skeptical. And remember, in a world built on distraction, the most dangerous thing you can do is pay attention. Because Ice Cube, Chappelle, and Kirk may have lit the fuse. But it's you who decides whether the truth explodes.